Should you tell a narcissist that they are a narcissist? This video is going to be about what could potentially happen if you call a narcissist out on their behaviour and tell them what you believe their problem to be. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might have been around throughout your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact. It is on a spectrum. Some people can just be narcissistic. Some people can be narcissist psychopaths and a little bit more dangerous. And most importantly, different ways to find what works for you to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you are new to the channel and you find the information helpful, please do subscribe. There's several reasons why somebody would want to call a narcissist out on their behaviour, and this rarely ends well. However, we like to communicate with people. We like to find a mutual understanding with people, especially with those who we once believed cared about us or still might believe care about us in some way. We want to help others. We want people to not only be aware of how they hurt us, but how they hurt those around them, how they hurt those they love, and how in one way or another the narcissist is actually hurting themselves. However, people often end up becoming enablers, because when you call a narcissistic partner or a narcissistic child or a narcissistic parent out on their behaviour, their treatment towards you often gets worse, and then we live in fear of what they might do and begin walking on eggshells in order not to set the narcissist off. Rarely will a narcissist listen to what you're saying to them and think, oh yeah, perhaps I'm a little bit like that, maybe I need to go and work on that. Instead, they're going to pass it all over to you. You deal with it and leave you to try and figure out what to do next. We can hope by explaining to them where we're coming from and what we think their problem might be, they will change into the person that they sold themselves to be. The thing is, they are who they are. They are that person that we lived that reality of, where they sold themselves to be that person. They are also the envious person that hurts other people, that pulls other people down. They are that person that seeks admiration, that love bombs and flatters people and idolises people and future fakes with people. And they are that envious, entitled, lack of empathy person that will hurt people, crush people, destroy people to meet a need of their own. We have to start accepting them as a whole person and stop separating them and seeing that. And it's difficult because when we don't know, we don't know. Once we do know, we have to gain the understanding of who they are as a person, not get them to understand who they are as a person, because those who are unwilling or unable to listen, the more we try to explain to them, the more they will try to hurt us. We have to learn to accept them for who they are and then take action to suit ourselves, which is often to walk away from them or go no contact with them. Just like we have to accept ourselves for who we are and stop changing for people who don't accept us for who we are. In one way, unwittingly, we are often a little bit hypocritical, because we expect them to change for us into the person they said they'd be or the parent that we would like. Yes, we do often change who we are to try and suit them as a person, when realistically we're not here to change anyone other than ourselves. And if people can't accept us for who we are the ones that have to walk away from that person. And if we can't accept them for who they are, we have to walk away from them. And no, it's not that simple. With all their gaslighting, with all their projection, with all their blame shifting, we are the ones that are left to believe that we are at fault, when in reality at some point we have to work out that we are not to blame for everything that goes wrong within the relationship, be it a relationship with a parent, a friend, a partner, a child or a boss. We are not responsible for everything that goes wrong. Yes, we can accept responsibility for our own behaviour, but we have to pass responsibility back to the rightful owner for theirs. And with a narcissist, this is not telling them, because they are not interested in listening to the negatives about them, about themselves. We have to lower our expectations of their understanding. We are capable of learning how, or having an idea to learn about how they think, how they listen, how they act. We can observe their behaviour and watch how they behave and learn as to who they are as a person, to recognise who they are as a person, so we can lower our expectations of their level of awareness, their level of understanding, so that we are no longer frustrated by their behaviour. We can then also raise our standards to learn the behaviour we will and will not accept from other people. A narcissist is self-entitled, so they're not interested in learning who you are as a person. They're not interested in learning who you are as an individual. They're interested in learning who you are so that they can exploit you to meet a need of their own. Telling a narcissist that they are a narcissist, or you believe them to be a narcissist, isn't going to change anything. Even if they go to therapy and find a therapist that can help them be aware of their behaviour, they are still that person. So there's quite a few things a narcissist might do if you call them out on their behaviour. Please add the ones I miss into the comments that you might have had if you've called a narcissist out on their behaviour. The first one is they are going to deny their behaviour. Just like us and many other humans, people don't like hearing about their mistakes. People don't like hearing about their errors in judgment. People don't like being told how they could better themselves, and often people can accept it when it comes in the form of constructive criticism. So we can often try different approaches to try and tell them. To a narcissist, we are repeatedly picking them up on mistakes that they do not want to be aware of. So just like most people, and you will probably know when a narcissist is baiting you and saying things about you that aren't even true, we naturally want to explain ourselves. We naturally want to defend ourselves. We naturally want to deny things that aren't true. With a narcissist, even if these things are true, they don't believe those negatives within themselves. So they are going to explain it away to you in a way that makes sense to you, but also confuses you. They are going to deny all knowledge to confuse you, to upset you, to bait you, to get you going. They are going to project it all onto you and how you could do something better to suit them. Only you take on board their opinions, their advice, and understand what they are saying, or try to process what they're saying, try to understand that explanation. They, however, are not listening to yours. It's gone in and it's gone straight back out, and they've turned it straight back round, shoved it all on you, and then let you deal with it. When you call out a narcissist about their behaviour, their arrogance is not going to allow themselves to accept it. Their entitlement is not going to allow themselves to accept it or listen to it or process it. They believe that they are always right. It's that kind of rule one with a narcissist. A narcissist is always right. Rule 2, if a narcissist is wrong, rule 1 applies. So they're always going to be right, no matter what you say or do. With that entitlement, they're not willing to accept any form of responsibility for anything they do wrong. To a narcissist, that is always someone else's fault. And usually the person that's trying to gain that understanding with the narcissist is the one that then ends up taking the blame and trying to change, walking on eggshells to help the narcissist, not understanding that the narcissist needs to be aware of their behaviour and they are unwilling or unable to do so. When they come at us with something, we can think, oh yeah, and ruminate about a situation and overanalyze a situation and think, maybe I have done that. Maybe we can recognise that we make mistakes. We can recognise that we make errors in judgment. So when they come at us, we can think about that and work out, oh, how do I need to change my perception? How do I need to change my approach? What could I do to make this work out a little bit better and a little bit easier on all round? How can I help everybody? So we change to suit them. A narcissist doesn't look inwards, they look at you. They pass the blame to escape the accountability for the things that they actually do. They lack the self-awareness, they lack the empathy. They're often oblivious to your feelings and often have refuse to listen to things that don't suit them or don't suit their reality, which is why they will gaslight you, because if what you're saying doesn't match their reality, it's not their reality. So they're going to try and gaslight you and take you down. Narcissists do act very insensitive. So even if you try to approach them nicely to try and work something out, they're not going to take your feelings on board. They're going to take it as criticism. They are going to take it that you've turned against them, and they are going to deny, gaslight, blame shift, project anything they can to turn it back around onto you, to twist the story so that they don't have to be held responsible for the things that they do to you. Number 2, if you tell them, they can then suddenly act all superior. That grandiosity where they've got that unrealistic view of themselves and who they are as a person. The fact that they think they're above others and they are quite self-absorbed people. They might act arrogance, almost like they are now a special kind of special because they are a narcissist. So they might think it's a good thing to be a narcissist. Because of that belief they are special, they think that they are above you and above other people. They believe that they're flawless and don't make mistakes, and any they do, that's down to you, that's your fault, that's never theirs. Narcissists often believe their own lies regardless of facts and evidence against them. And if you go to them with facts and evidence against them, they take this as deep criticism. They take this as you turning against them. They don't see it that they might have made a mistake. They see it as you've gone against them, that you're an untrustworthy person. Not that they've done something to be untrustworthy within themselves. They feel entitled to do that. However, they don't think you're entitled to call them out on that. They believe they're entitled to do as they please and you shouldn't question them. So 3, then they might fall silent on you, which hurts you as a person. I'll have the video for the silent treatment up here. A narcissist is preoccupied with themselves and living in that fantasy world, creating their ideal. They don't want to see your point of view. If your point of view does not match theirs, they're not interested in what you've got to say. The more you try to push the subject with them, because that's how they will see it. They'll not see it as you trying to reach a mutual understanding of each other or a compromise. They'll see it as you trying to push a belief on them that they don't want to believe in because it doesn't match their reality, it doesn't match their grandiosity, it doesn't match their belief that they are special. If you're calling them out on some form of behaviour they don't want to be called out of. They can then be quick to anger. They can then rage. This is a situation nobody really wants to be around when a narcissist has received some form of narcissistic injury, which is usually when someone's said no to them, when someone's called them out on some form of behaviour, when the narcissist is just in a bad mood and feels like they've been criticised in some way. I'll also have the video for narcissistic injury up here. There's many reasons why a narcissist might fly off the handle over seemingly nothing, and you can try to not necessarily call them a narcissist, but just speak to them about some form of behaviour that might have hurt their own children in some way, or their parents, or how they spoke to a friend, or how they spoke to you, or something they said they'd do that they wouldn't do, calling them not necessarily a narcissist, but calling them out on their behaviour. They can then rage. And if you call them a narcissist and list the traits and the behaviour, they can then rage. Because they can see it as things going against them. When you're telling them that they haven't done something, this questions their entitlement to do as they please. The fact that they don't want to take responsibility for their behaviour. They don't think that rules apply to them. They think rules apply to you, but they don't want to accept that rules apply to them. They should be allowed to do as they please and just get away with it. They lack the empathy, so they don't recognise the pain that they cause other people. To them, the pain that somebody else is in is always that other person's fault. Narcissists are very argumentative. And we all have weaknesses. We all have those weak points. We've all made those mistakes within our lives. A narcissist will pick them apart one by one. Any weakness you have, where you're coming from a place of trying to help them, trying to help them recognise, trying to help them learn, trying to help them grow, because of their envy, they're coming from a place of trying to destroy you, trying to bring you down, trying to hurt you, trying to pick you apart bit by bit so they can further their control over you. And number 5, if you call a narcissist, some will go and look up the disorder and then they'll use that against you. The difference being, a narcissist will often look it up and think, oh, that's not me. They'll either think, oh, I'm really super special. Especially if they see the first page of Google where I think it says 0.5% to 1% are diagnosed narcissists. So they'll think, oh, I'm 0.5% of the population. This is the first page of Google. This is diagnosed people. This doesn't account for all the undiagnosed people. This doesn't account for narcissistic people, not necessarily the people that are on the disorder, but those with high levels of narcissistic traits as well. They're not as special as they think. There is a lot more of them out there than we actually believe. Even if only 1% of the population is a narcissist, that means 1 in every 100 people is a narcissist. If that 1 spends time with 20 people, they're affecting 20 people's lives. Many people are affected by narcissistic people. That's just going on those who are diagnosed. So a narcissist might go and Google the disorder, look up the disorder and use it against you. This can be very dangerous for you. A narcissist often will not recognise it within themselves. They'll deny it, they'll shift the blame. That's why they're going to tell you you're the narcissist. Most people who are not the narcissist, who look inwards, who question who they are as a person, will start to question, is it me? Am I the narcissist? Maybe I have done something. Maybe I need to change. And that's all they need to pull you back in to their manipulative games. It's not them, it's you. And that's how you know the difference. If you're the one that's always blaming yourself, if you're the one that has the empathy to care for other people, it's highly unlikely it's you, because a narcissist will rarely to never blame themselves. They lack the empathy to care. So calling them out on their behaviour. Another reason, closure, to get closure. We are not going to get closure from a narcissistic person. Closure is something we give to ourselves by learning about our own life experiences, learning our own expectations, learning our own standards, learning about people for who they are. And closure is what we give ourselves when we close the chapter of our past, so that we can use the present to build a better future for ourselves. Closure is not something you're going to get from a narcissist. Closure is something you are going to get from within you. If anyone has, most of us have called a narcissist out on their behaviour in the hope. Some tantrum, some go around throwing TVs and punching walls, punching doors when they're in that rage. Most people will have called a narcissist out on their behaviour at some point. So please add into the comments what you witnessed. Again, it's not recommended to call a narcissist a narcissist. It's not going to make them recognise who they are and become a better person for it. It often makes them worse. I shall add the videos in the description to explain more about the narcissistic injury, the narcissistic rage, the narcissistic blame shift, their gaslighting, and their silent treatment, and their passive aggressive behaviours, which is part of the silent treatment, as these are often the things you are going to be on the receiving end of if you call them out on their behaviour and explains them in a lot more detail. Thank you very much for listening. I am full for one-to-one coaching at the moment. I have partnered up with BetterHelp. Their sponsored link will be in the description. There's also the online courses in there, which is just a more detailed step-by-step guide to the personality disorder and ways to recover from narcissistic abuse. There's also the free one, which is just to help people through those first 30 days of no contact. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope everyone has an amazing day. Bye.